for myself. I got nobody else to lean on.
Welcome to everyone joining us to experience stories of resilience, hope, perseverance, and joy.
Move over to a sport chair, basketball wheelchair.
Category of Best Video are...
We love you guys.
You're watching America Trends. I'm Mary Burt-Godwin, and I am talking with Professor William Lawrence. He is a professor of Poly-Sci and International Affairs at American University in Washington, D.C. He's zooming in, and we are having a good old talk about politics right now. Professor Lawrence, I want to talk to you about this. You mentioned Ron DeSantis earlier before the break. So there's a DeSantis and Disney feud happening that's been happening over a year now, I believe. And it seems to be in the paper, in the news all the time. Can you tell me where we're at with this and how it could be potentially affecting him? You mentioned that earlier.
Sure. And let me start by saying Trump started using his Instagram account again today.
I saw that. What was his tweet? I didn't even read the tweet. What was the tweet?
Well, part of what's coming out today, and I'm not sure if it's on the Instagram or not, but he's trashing on DeSantis in ways I kind of agree with. But that Trump's very good at that. He's good at seizing at whatever in the news and turning it to a criticism that works to his advantage. But what's been going on in context is a number of DeSantis supporters have bailed and started working for Trump. And a number of funders are really concerned about gaffes that DeSantis is making. And this reminds me a little bit of the 1970s going after PBS and Elmo and, all that for the pittance that PBS gets from the federal government. And it's a little bit like that going after Disney. But Disney has, as you know, probably special tax status and sort of self-governs in the Florida context. And whether or not you're for or against that special status, that's not why DeSantis went after them. He went after them because they were opposing his anti-gay legislation and other quote unquote reforms in the schools. It's not hard to imagine that the gay community at Disney is quite large, has always been for decades, and that's an issue they're going to take umbrage with when it comes to DeSantis. And so by taking on Disney, he's tried to make several legal moves to take away their independent status, and he keeps getting beaten by a Disney, board and a Disney, let's say, administration that's been out maneuvering him, and that's what Trump's has seized on because ultimately DeSantis could probably win. DeSantis is the strongest Florida governor in a generation, but he keeps losing the battles against Disney.
Well, Disney has been a beloved structure in our country for years and years and years. So it is hard to go against Disney, I would think, because it's so beloved by everyone across political lines.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, again, there's plenty of things you can go after Disney for, plenty of things you can criticize Disney for, but doing it the way DeSantis is doing is actually strengthening Disney and hurting DeSantis. And there comes a point, when you keep failing at something, don't keep digging the hole. And DeSantis doesn't seem to figure that out yet. But, DeSantis, notwithstanding that he's quite good on humanitarian relief after all the disasters Florida's been experiencing when he does team up with the Biden administration. On everything else, it's just opportunistic battle after opportunistic battle, which again hurts his chance in the general election. So, for example, I'm from Massachusetts. When he flew all those Texas migrants who didn't need to fly to Florida on a private jet funded by dubious sources to the island of Martha's Vineyard to make a point, that may help him with hardcore anti-immigration folks in the Republican Party and outside the party. It doesn't help him, with the general public because it just looks gratuitous, like the Disney thing, like so many things he does. It looks like gratuitous politics rather than actually governing. And the other thing I'd say, and Trump has figured this out. DeSantis hasn't. Positive politics wins in America. Tell people what's good, what's coming, and what could be better, and how you're going to make it happen. And that's the type of thing we just don't hear from DeSantis, which is one of the reasons his donors are beginning to turn on him.
I want to talk to you before you go. I want to talk to you about something I was reading about called the diploma divide. I don't know who coined this term, but it's basically talking about how voters with degrees are seemingly aligning their voting with the Democratic Party. And it's a clear line of those who go to college and those who don't, or have their diplomas, specifically college diplomas. So what are you seeing, and do you think that that's what you're seeing out there?
I really like that article. And although this has been a trend in U.S. politics against the university establishment, against expertise, and against college education in many ways for a couple of generations, in some ways it's a leitmotif of American politics since the beginning, make it on your own with or without degrees, that whole thing. That's accelerated. And if you look at the polling data, which the article did, I really liked it. 18, 20, and 22, that trend where the independents are controlling things is increasing, and the trend of college education being the determinative of your voting is increasingly true. And so there's two trends in opposite directions. Increasingly, minorities and poorer Americans without college degrees who used to vote Democratic, as the party that would save them with social programs, are increasingly voting Republican. And increasingly, college-educated Republicans and independents living in the suburbs are voting Democratic, even if they're for small government, just because of, in part, all this chaos coming from the right and the racism and all that. So in the end, that means that national elections are now determined in the suburbs of about 8 cities, Detroit, Atlanta, Philadelphia, and other places, in which those college-educated women and men either turn out and swing the election towards Dems, or the less educated populations, in those suburbs and in the rural areas turn out in larger numbers and they win the elections. The women vote wasn't covered well in that article. Women are spun up on the abortion issue.
Yeah,
we're
going to see that a lot, don't you think, in this upcoming election?
Absolutely.
Well, I hope you'll come back to talk to us about that as we get closer to the election in 2024 and all the primaries this year. So, Professor William Lawrence, American University professor, it was a pleasure speaking with you. And everyone at home, thank you so much for being here at America Trends. We're here every night of the week on BizTV.com. And you can find us on our social media channels at America Trends TV on Instagram, Facebook, and still Twitter. There we are.